Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate you holding this important hearing. I want to thank all the witnesses. I want to thank Mr. Miller for stepping up to the plate. I want to thank Mr. Leventhal and Mr. Fogg. Mr. Chairman, once again, we find the government picking winners and losers. Rialto, Colony Capital, Oak Tree Capital, and others are the winners. Builders, developers, and even their subcontractors, and in some cases their purchasers that have previously purchased their product are the losers. Make no mistake, as Rialto's the case that Mr. Miller was talking about, and the other managing partners are getting a great deal. They get financial information about their competitors for pennies on the dollar. In fact, Rialto only paid $241 million for $3 billion in loans. This is approximately 8 cents on the dollar. To add to this sweetheart deal, I think, Rialto received a $600 million loan from the FDIC, interest-free, non-recourse, for 7 to 10 years. Now, that is a deal that I think most of these borrowers would have took if they could have bought this loan for 8 cents or put up 8 cents on the dollar and then had the FDIC loan them the rest of it for 7 years with no interest and no recourse. I think the FDIC would have recovered a lot more money. But wait, there's more. Rialto and these other managing partners are paid a management fee. On this particular case, the $3 billion case, I believe the fee was $32 million for the first year. This is paid on the unpaid balance. So what incentive is there for any of these managing partners to settle the loan when they're getting a management fee on the whole deal? There's no incentive. If you take the $32 million and divide it by the number of loans, which I think was 5,200, they're being paid $6,100 per loan per year. And this is paid on the unpaid principal balance of the portfolio. In fact, many of my constituents have tried to negotiate with Rialto and the FDIC. The FDIC is probably the hardest agency that I'm familiar with that is willing to negotiate anything. I will say that Rialto has stepped up in the last week or 2 weeks to try to settle some of these things. But earlier this year, I gave the FDIC verifiable proof that the FDIC was not maximizing return for the deposit insurance fund. And let me tell you what happened. We had a gentleman that had a loan with a bank that, and he borrowed the money to buy stock in another bank. And if you'll give me just 30 more seconds, to buy stock in another bank, $500,000. The bank he bought stock in went broke. Silverton Bank went broke. He had a modified agreement for 85% of the $500,000 agreed to by the FDIC. Then the FDIC sold that loan to a third party for 18 cents on the dollar. That's a problem. And so I hope that we'll get some answers today to make sure that the FDIC is getting the maximums they can for the money and that they're not killing small business and creating, doing away with jobs. Now, yield back.
Yeah, now,